Hello guys, my name is Maria Andersen. Welcome to my channel. We talk about crypto, money and investments here. Welcome to my podcast guys. And today I have a special guest, my friend Miguel, early Bitcoin investor and also just a handsome guy. Hello Miguel, how are you?
Maria, appreciate the compliment. Right back at you. You're breaking my virginity today.
Oh,
I've never been hosted by a woman in blockchain before on her own show. You know, I'm usually the host in our media
yeah.
content, and so it's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you for coming. So, I just told that you're an early Bitcoin investor, but this is not the only thing about you. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself before we will start talking about Bitcoin and all the beautiful stuff?
Right. Well, I mean, I wouldn't really call myself an early Bitcoin investor. I mean, 2017,
Oh, that's
October,
early
I think I got my first Bitcoin for about $2,500.
per coin.
So it was right before the big 2018 hype, sort of, or 2017, 2018 end of the year hype. And yeah, it opened up it opened up my mind a lot because I was already, essentially an anarchist, if you will, a monetary anarchist.
Okay.
I've been studying things like the Zeitgeist movement since the first film came out, I think, and I saw, I don't remember if I saw the first one or the second one. It was in 2002, and it was like right following 2001, September 11th, in which I was a witness to because I lived in New York at the time. I studied in Brooklyn. It happened literally across the Hudson. When you see two buildings turn to dust and you're 16 years old, I mean, you get to, and then of course the whole plethora of information that came afterwards, the narratives that just didn't make sense to even my 16-year-old mind. You start wondering, what is it all made of? What's this whole system that we're living in? Who's in charge? Where does the money come from? Why does it come from in the way that it comes from, and just how the world kind of works. And so that began my quest into a plethora of, interesting folks from the day, from Alex Jones to David Icke,
Beautiful. Yeah.
alternative narratives, alternative media. It was always a thing for me.
Okay.
And eventually that's actually what led me to Bitcoin, because I was working at the time on an alternative news channel, and I had my first show that was called Cryptolium. And, that took me pretty much into the January of 2018, my first event. It was the blockchain cruise, the Asian blockchain cruise hosted by Coinsbank, and that's where I met John McAfee.
Okay.
And he was one of the first guests of my first episode, and
So cool.
it was always very crypto anarchy infused, if you will.
Okay.
So and that's kind of how we ended up starting with our own decentralized show and documentary film series. As I decided to break away from centralized media and leave the alternative news channel that I was working at, and or I should say working with, because it was a contracted show. But the point is, I wanted my own, narrative creation machine. I was always in, I was into filmmaking. That's where I studied in LA. I'm a film school graduate, and so that's kind of how I ended up in the alternative media / newsmanship / documentarism, etc., where you can you can establish narratives or really dive deep into certain narratives to see whether they're true or not. And money makes the world go around, so it was all basically a click.
So true.
And it's funny, I was in Mexico at the time in 2017 thinking, what do I want to do next with my life? Like, I'm not happy with this whole, alternative news stuff and all this, this and that. It's like, life was getting kind of weird. And I climbed up the Coba Pyramid in the, between Playa del Carmen and Tulum, went to Coba, which is not, that's the pyramid that you maybe still can climb. At least back then you could climb it still with a rope And so I climbed up top the pyramid. I just stood there and I was like, what's next?
And you had a
You know?
sign.
And I just like, I felt this crazy energy just, and then just literally boom, boom, boom. It was like Bitcoin, 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 you know, coin
Wow.
market cap. And
Amazing.
that's how I got my first Bitcoin in October 2017. So,
So cool.
long story short.
By the way, guys, if you want to buy, sell, or trade crypto, you can use Famex Crypto Exchange. It's one of my favorite. Use my link in the first pinned comment below this video. If you will register using that link, you can get up to 8,800 USDT welcome rewards, of course, after you complete some simple steps on the platform. By the way, Famex also has its native token. It's called PT token. Check out Famex Web3 section where you can actually interact with the platform using PT token. You can stake it. You can do a lot of cool stuff with it. So guys, check out the first pinned comment. Yeah, but I actually love your movies, or how you call it, films. So amazing. And I will definitely put a link in the description for guys to go and check everything about it. So tell me, what do you think about Bitcoin? Do you think actually that Bitcoin is kind of religion, or is it what it is,
Yeah.
in your opinion?
I don't like the connotation of religion
Okay.
generally, even though I am religious.
Oh.
I'm spiritual, but, you know,
Mhm.
I am of a religious origin. And for me, you know, it's like the song by one of my favorite bands, Depeche Mode, Personal Jesus. Everyone has their own personal Jesus. And so
Yeah.
Bitcoin should not be that personal Jesus,
No.
you know, because, you know, it was called a sect from the beginning. And
Yeah.
I was a part of this community as we were, you know, creating events here in Dubai in 2018. Our first event with Brock Pierce, you know, Futurama Blockchain Innovators Summit, which we are, by the way, rebranding, and it's coming back very soon. We're going to do a big event in Ibiza.
Here.
Future Minds, the future is now gathering in Ibiza.
Okay.
We might do something in Dubai,
Yeah,
but, you know,
please.
but anyway, 2018, you know, Brittany Kaiser, Miko Matsumura, you know, we had all the Ukrainians, Russians, all the Singaporeans, Hong Kongese, you know, the British, the Americans, the Puerto Ricans, all coming together in Dubai, you know, 2018. And it wasn't really a sect. It was a movement. It was always a movement. So it was never really religious. It was more about people realizing that they want monetary sovereignty, you know, that they understand the concept of, you know, fix the money, fix the world.
Okay.
And they see that, you know, there's something wrong with the world. And I think everyone that I've met along the way, and again, so a little bit about me, you know, the future is now DAO. We're a Web3 portal. We're bringing out a lot of educationary tools right now to the plate, so we can actually help educate the community, because it's all about education.
Of course. Sure.
Education in, you know, current schools is ruined. You don't learn about finances. You don't learn about, you know, taxes. You don't learn about anything.
Anything.
You know, they literally make you into a robot from day one.
I know.
And as a father of two children, you know, believe me, I know this better than many in the crypto community.
I'm a teenager son, mom, you know.
I'm so happy because you don't meet a lot of people in the crypto community that actually have families or kids. I mean, literally, you have, but for the most part, I don't know why.
Yeah, why?
And it needs
By
to
the
change
way.
because people are selfish. I'll tell you why. Because people are greedy and selfish in the crypto
Oh,
community.
really?
Yes, a lot of people.
I thought it's a nice community.
No, it's not.
I never no.
No.
I never met.
No. We have a nice community, but at the end of the day, you know, a lot of it is based on, you know, the concept of, you know, freedom and this and that, and sometimes people mistake, you know, solitude and not having a family, not essentially creating a nuclear unit. That is the most important thing right now, because that's what's going to take us into a brighter future. Because if you look at what's happening with the pop culture now, everything is geared at destroying the nuclear family concept. Everything.
I've noticed.
Media, So, you know, so anyway, back to crypto anarchy. Oh God, where was I?
You were talking about why you don't think that Bitcoin is a religion.
Right. So it was always about that. It was always about understanding that the power of monetary sovereignty, and I think that's where, as part of the Future is Now DAO, which started as simply a boutique media and a PR agency, with our flagship product being the future is now film, which I think was really we were the pioneers of if you want to call it blockchain cinema, what we then coined as essentially cinematic branding and creating blockchain mass adoption through media, through cinema, through emotions and feelings, something that people can connect with, into the socioeconomic growth, right? So you want to show the story and you want to show the narrative, not the kind of narrative that was present in 2018, 2019, and 2017, which is just a bunch of FUD. And all these people that are from the institutional side that are involved in it now are, doing a 180 and essentially completely turning around on everything that they've stated back then. While we were trying to fix that, both first, at least from my end, in centralized media while I was a part of it. And then when we left and created The Future Is Now, we started, creating our own narrative platform. And I think that was important because it allowed me to show that it's not a religion, it's not a cult. It's a communal concept of empowering each other and aligning incentives so everybody wins.
Yeah, true.
That's what it's all about.
Like a movement, yeah.
Well, it's about aligning incentives. Web3 is about aligning incentives, and that's what decentralization is, because decentralization and the concept of Bitcoin and the concept of, diffing, even though I much rather get away from money altogether, like again, back in the, as I mentioned to the viewers and, Peter Joseph, David Icke, there was obviously Venus Project. I don't know if you ever heard of the Venus Project. They were quite big. Jacques Fresco, a student of Buckminster Fuller, an amazing social engineer who created a full system that essentially showed people that, hey, it's all about what you are programmed to think, do, and feel. And you're literally programmed because when you go to a rural island somewhere in, where people run around naked, it's normal for them because that's what they were programmed into, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with everything else. You go there, you find that abnormal because you were not programmed to see that that's normal.
So who is programming us?
So basically, the whole monetary concept in general is a program that keeps us stuck in this paradigm of, greed and survival and this whole, sort of the moon matrix, if you will, if you want to really dive deep. But what's the point? The point is the system is broken. The system is broken where I saw that Bitcoin was that one quintessential tool that came about that can at least impact the system, even though it was playing off the old paradigm of financial, trading and exchanging things and for services, going back to Jacques Fresco, why am I saying that exchanging services is wrong? Well, because technology, even now with AI, it's showing like never before. Okay, back then when he was speaking about it in 2003, nobody understood Jacques. And at the time, I think he was a 92 or something, or a 89-year-old. He died at like 99, I think, years old. He passed away like, I think maybe 5 years ago. I don't recall exactly, maybe a little more, but nobody understood him, what he meant. What do you mean no money? What do you mean no trading for services and exchange of, value like that? Well, because the machinery, he was talking about that back then, is already sufficient enough to manage the apartments, to manage the clothing, to manage the distribution of transportation and everything else. So you can create an autonomous working society managed by technology that's not going to be Skynet.
Yeah.
You can, because technology is a tool. Like my good friend Brock and our great patron and friend, Brock Pierce, always says, it's a tool. It can be used for both good and bad, right? And it's the responsibility of us, the community, the crypto community, to decide how we're going to use this technology. And so going back to the monetary example, the example is simple. If you can manage and automate transportation, clothing, goods, create a community service that literally has you aiding the discovery of stars and creation of spaceships, well, guess what? You stop looking in this plain view of this exchange of value and all this greed and, monotonous survival that humanity has been put upon. And all of a sudden you start expanding your horizons and looking at the stars and looking at space and literally focusing on that, on what humanity was destined to focus on. But because of this matrix that we're a part of, you see,
Yeah.
nobody can really get out. And we're only getting out now a little bit because the AI is coming. It's already enabling humanity to like let go for the first time in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And at least those who facilitate AI, and we're also part, we do some stuff with AI, I would say that AI infrastructure.
Okay.
That's part of our government relation side, because we also, I mean, so we started as a media, then we grew into a PR agency, then we grew into a GR agency, so encompassing all those other elements, and then we became also a go-to-market agency where we take companies to market, and we educate the community, we align the incentives of everybody involved, from the community, the influencers, the projects themselves, right? Everybody involved, so everybody wins. So that's essentially what FinDAO is. The future is now DAO. It's a community of sorts, and that's why our website is thefutureisnow.community.
Okay.
So that's why I think Bitcoin is not really a religion. It's an understanding that this is the stepping stone to a different sort of reality that we can all be responsible to create, as long as we choose to hold that responsibility.
Yeah. So
And it starts with showing up. Just got to show up. Show up to the events. Show up to the webinars. Show up to these amazing podcasts and shows, and learn and educate yourself, because the education system, as I mentioned before, is it's broken.
Yeah.
By the way, you could say the word "fug" with 2 G's.
Oh,
Yeah,
I think so.
yeah, you can just fucking say things like that, and it's not going to get beeped or anything.
Okay, guys.
Fucking cool.
Don't forget to hit that like also, okay? Okay, so, but do you agree that for some people, most of the people, Bitcoin is just a speculative asset and they don't actually see any value in it? And what do you think, just in general, what is the value of Bitcoin? Why it's better than gold, for example? Why it's not just a speculative asset? What do you think
it's a
about
speculative asset for the people that are coming from that matrix that we were talking about. They're coming from that old view of looking at it as like, this is another, piece of gold, or this is another thing that I can make some money on.
Yeah.
So they have this closed-minded view, this very narrow box that they need to break out of, actually, and fly like the moth, like
To
the
the
phoenix. Yes,
Yeah.
the rising phoenix,
Okay.
from the ashes to the moon
Yeah.
and Mars and beyond. And that's the problem. That's why. But even though the institutionals are from that world, even they, over the last 6 years that I've been here, have realized that, well, now we're measuring actually our trust in the centralized financial system by our trust to Bitcoin. You see, that's why they're getting in.
Yeah.
Because they don't even trust the system anymore. Because they see that it's doomed to fail. It's doomed to explode. You can't, the US and the trillions of debt that the US has on its balance sheet, where's that going to go?
I don't know.
Like, what do people actually think? The country that has the ultimate currency, that controls the world through their military industrial complex and financial pressure, protecting that financial dollar by its military industrial complex with a debt that huge. What do people think is going to happen?
I don't know.
How do
That's
you reset that debt? What do you think?
What do you think?
Right?
I think dollar will just collapse one day.
Well, yeah, but what do you think is going to happen if the dollar collapses, right?
Everything will collapse.
Well,
Besides
right.
those who are Bitcoin holders.
Well, that message from the future on Reddit with the citadels, if you remember, back in 2019 or 18, there's some truth to that. It's the world is resetting as we speak. There is a great reset agenda. It all has to very much do with actually digitizing us. And that's why just a couple days ago, I don't know if you heard the news, in EU, transactions over $3,000 from a custodian, wallet are now deemed illegal.
That's crazy.
So the crackdown is real. It's happening.
Yeah.
That's why people need to understand the train. Like our good friend Miko Mutsumura, who's also in many of our films, one of the partners in Pantera Capital, one of the strongest crypto capital
Okay.
funds in the industry always said, the bus is lowering down every now and then, right? That's when the price goes down, and it's an opportunity for you to get in before the hydraulics pump it back up, and then the bus starts going uphill again. Yeah, so that opportunity is coming and going, and that's why people, they need to understand that if they want to hedge their risk in the loom of the next black swan, which is coming, people. I'm sorry, it's coming. Like I love
So
the positivity, but we got to be real. We are here in this industry to help humanity not become trapped in the games and narratives that are being weaved by certain powers that are not interested in allowing humanity to have that sort of freedom, to have that sort of monetary sovereignty, right? That's why I'm talking about the bus. Some people say, is it too late to get in? No.
Yeah.
It's never too late to
I
get
always
in.
have this question.
Is
it too late?
One Satoshi was designed to be, I think, 1/10 of a cent or 1 cent, which means that one Bitcoin is going to equal to, I think, either 1 million or $10 million. I may be getting my math wrong. This is all in my head. There's so much in my head because, again, we've interviewed Larry King for crypto, Michael Turpin, Brittany Kaiser, Tim Draper.
Yeah, so cool.
So many amazing people from all over the world, that have been a part of our film, and that's why the film actually, kind of opens doors for us.
So cool.
Because we get to, get people like Sergey Kuntz of 1inch and Justin Sun of Tron to actually come in and also support us, which allows us to essentially, create the sort of positioning for some of these players out there, even though some of them are, you may think of who what you may, but believe me, I've met people that I know have an infosphere of both good and bad. And when you actually speak to these people, when you actually work with them, you realize that at the end of the day, these people are still trying to do something good. It's just some of the mistakes that you may have seen in their record are actually them working through some of these blockages that they've carried into this new system from the old system.
Interesting.
Because I think that's the thing. Working in this industry, it's a learning experience, and it's also a self-growing experience.
That's for sure.
Because you're growing, not just with the assets that grow literally and scale your portfolio as they scale, but you grow through this amazing communal experience that we're all having. Because I can go anywhere in the world right now,
and you will
after the 6 years that I've read, and I can literally, I know that I have a crypto friend, I have a crypto mansion that I can, lounge in and settle for a few days while I'm there. I know that I'm not going to be left alone. It's this amazing community power. And that's why, it's funny. I was on the opening team of Groupon in Russia in 2011. Part of the reason why I came back is I was in startups after my film school. I was like, you know what? No, I like filming and I like all that stuff, but I want to be in IT startups. And so, when I discovered Groupon, it's like the power of communal buying. And it's very similar to how it works right now with the launch pads, with TGEs. It's pretty much the same thing. It's the power of collective purchase. It's the power of what is Bitcoin really? What did Bitcoin show people? It showed people that it's not about what something is worth. Because guess what? You, the little Joe or whatever, have the power to make that worth, that value. You have the power, and all you got to do is direct your attention to it. And Dodge with Elon and all that, right? That solidified that even more with the meme coin boom, because it's the same thing. It's like,
do you hold any, by the way?
Do I hold some Dodge? Yeah.
And some meme coins?
Not a lot. Not a lot. I'm more of a, as you can see, I'm more of a practical guy.
Okay.
And so even though I love the concept of, hey, play with my meme and look, I'll show you that value can be anything as long as I get your attention for it. And then the collective purchase happens and everybody wins. But so many rug pulls at the same time.
Yeah, we have a lot.
And so I'm not a big fan of that kind of a thing. I like sustainable projects right now that have to, so it's DeFi, it's AI, it's GameFi.
Yeah.
These are the three things that I hold dear, and the projects that we work with, that we help scale and take to market, it's these kind of players like that have substance. So I like substance.
Yeah, for sure.
But the point is that meme coin showed and solidified even that further than Bitcoin, that it's all about your attention. And you have the power, because the power is in the attention.
So cool.
And that's also where kind of my strive for media comes in, because like with good media, you can captivate people and you can garnish their attention. So as long as you have integrity in what you do, and as long as you're trying to, be a good player in this community, you can make ripples.
Yeah, so true.
Ripples.
How do we bring more people to crypto space? What do we do?
Well, it's already it's happening by itself. People asked me that question back in the day, and I was like, well, I'm just going to continue doing my film and taking it to Netflix, and we've been in negotiations.
Netflix?
Yeah, we've been in negotiations with them over the last 2 years. And it's just with mediums like that, you still have to understand that there's a certain narrative that is wanted.
Okay.
Because, Netflix and really anything in centralized media, it's a propaganda tool. It is there to control your attention and control you and subvertly groom you in a certain way for certain narratives. Who was the first CEO and co-founder of Netflix? Do you know?
No, tell me.
Mark Randolph Bernays.
Okay.
The grandson of Edward Bernays. Edward Bernays, who created the term public relations in the Roaring 20s, who was Sigmund Freud's nephew.
Wow.
Who created the whole concept of, Walter Lippmann, manufacturing consent. He was also a student, a reader of Gustave Le Bon, The Crowd, controlling crowds, how it's all done. Council on Public Relations became the Council on Foreign Relations. Council on Foreign Relations is a soft power institution in the US that essentially controls major 5 media corporations, military industrial complexes, the banking system, etc. It's the soft power really that rules the world. It's people in closed rooms at the WEF and side events that nobody even knows about that actually get to decide what's going to be the next mega trend on this planet. Is it going to be another COVID? Is it going to be another war? Is it going to be another crash?
Well, that's sad.
It's the truth. And you know what? Crypto allows you to understand this, because we're there to educate you and show you facts. That's why I massively love the entertaining angle, and I love your show. And I think I'm one of the first that's bringing such a weird overtone to it.
That's fine.
But I hope that it's valuable, because this is valuable information, right?
Yeah, of course.
Because if you know how it works, then you can understand what needs to be done to perhaps create a change.
What needs to be done?
So,
at least
going back to that question, right? What do we do to get more people involved? We need to allow this. So what's the beauty about Satoshi and what Bitcoin is? It's a seed, right? Because that's what it is. Again, answering your first question, it's not a religion. It's not, a movement per se. It's a seed of knowledge that was created in such a way that its growth literally takes you with it. Again, going back to what I said, right? You're growing with it.
Statement.
You're growing emotionally. You're growing spiritually. You're growing financially. You're scaling your understanding of this reality. That's the beauty of Bitcoin and what I think it started. And that's why this speculative stuff, it's great. Please, if I can help people in third world countries by banking them with Bitcoin, by generating $10 a day, and that makes a difference to their salaries, that's great.
Of course.
And if we can add some speculation and fun and hype into it to, get it all going for the TGE or for the launchpad or whatnot, that's great. But that's not what it's about, right? It's much deeper, and people need to understand that it's much deeper. And so I think what we need to do is just let it play out, because it's already playing out. Like I said, right? I wanted to do Netflix and this and that, and I'm thinking, wow, I mean, shit. Michael Saylor,
Mm-hmm.
2 years ago, the president of El Salvador, who part of my team actually went to film, and then we also have William Soriano, the congressman from El Salvador, in one of our recent episodes with Justin Sun, who talks about how the IMF gave him a letter after Bukele made that decision and said you should really consider reconsidering, because we predict that you will have very serious security repercussions if you decide to use Bitcoin as one of your as one of your monetary standards, officially. And and basically what William told me in that interview, which everybody can watch on our YouTube.com/the future is now, is that, well, hey, we had RIA, we had all these, Western Union, all these money services that were literally sucking us dry with the transfers, because a major American El Salvadorian community in both the US, also in Europe, as I understand, sending money back to El Salvador.
Yeah.
And the amount of fees, that it was like up to 20%.
That's crazy.
That the country was just losing just because someone else held that power. So with the Chivo wallet, with the whole revolution of El Salvador, and I mean, people were laughing at him, maybe a year and a half ago, when Bitcoin went below 30K, which was his average price that he got it for. And well, I just want to ask you people that you were laughing at President Bukele. How about now? Where's your smirk now, huh?
Yeah.
Fuggers. Double G. So, that's it. And see, that's part of that Bitcoin, not virus, I want to say, but that Bitcoin seed that's growing and it's playing out to where governments are adopting it. Institutions are adopting it. We have BlackRock just recently announcing ETF. Yeah. We have a Bitcoin ETF that was approved just recently. I mean, look, we're right now at 60, what is it today?
60.
67, 65?
Yeah.
Everybody said, oh, this COVID all-time high. No, we're never going to go back. No, we're going back and we're going beyond, just like everybody said. The 4 seasons of Bitcoin, Michael Turpin, we're at the 4th iteration right now of the 4th season. It's mathematically going to do at least a 2x from the previous halving. So expect 120, expect 150, potentially 180. Like it's happening, whether you like it or not. It's mathematics. It's the white paper of Bitcoin by Satoshi, who again, is the mysterious figure behind it. But maybe he was a time traveler with the looking glass.
Do you think you know who is Satoshi?
Well, I think it's a group of people. I do have my thoughts on who it is, but I wouldn't want to speak him because publicly. I think it's not a good idea.
Okay. Well, we'll not talk about it. Okay.
But yeah, let's just say it has to do with people and countries that today hold the presidium of power, because you will not be able to create something like that and release it and get adoption for it the way it happened without holding at least certain levers of power in certain places.
Okay.
So,
well, I have a question from my relatives, actually, because this is a question I ask all my guests. Because my relatives, they don't know anything about Bitcoin, and they don't believe in it. And the only thing they just tell me, what if the electricity will shut down one day? What will happen to your Bitcoin?
Well, with the recent onslaught of propaganda of an EMP event and the next Black Swan being some sort of a tragic, grid event, which is so funny. It's just like, just like with COVID, you had event 201 in Manhattan right before COVID happened, literally with all the same organizations from UPS to FedEx to the banking system who were sitting there being educated on what we're going to do if a potential coronavirus outbreak hits the world. And this was in September 2019.
Nobody talked about it.
This was like 3 months before COVID actually became a public, pandemic. And they're holding the same exercises now. Cyber Polygon, many other exercises. People could just Cyber Polygon, type that in. It's, it has to do with hackers, internet, grid. And guess what? The Bitcoin community are no fools. they're monitoring what's happening out there in the media sphere, what is being programmed as the next black swan. And believe me, that question that some people have also been asking me is being addressed by the Bitcoin community. And that's why I say, I'm not a Bitcoin maxi.
You're not.
Well, because we work with decentralized, and we work with dApps and people that have, again, Bitcoin is the father, Ethereum is the daughter that opened up this new opportunity through the ICO, through everything else. Came the TGE, came other chains, but Bitcoin, that's always going to be the trendsetter.
Okay.
And other chains have tried to be the trendsetter, but they can't, because at the end of the day, they're not decentralized. The only decentralized chain, more or less, and truly, without an office or a number to call for support, is Bitcoin, is the Bitcoin blockchain.
Yeah.
And, why would you ever use it for a database storage? It's so slow. You wouldn't. But you would only use it because you don't trust anyone.
Yeah. But you have to trust yourself.
No. And that's why it's good.
Yeah.
Because when you don't trust anyone, that is your most trusted blockchain.
You know what? I think I'm becoming a Bitcoin maxi. I used to be a meme coin queen, something like this. I made a lot of money on meme coins back in 2021. But now I think I'm becoming a Bitcoin maxi, like more than ever. I don't even like all those.
I don't know. You sound like you're getting
This is so strange.
You got some pleasure. You got some bit leisure on you, because every time I say good things about Bitcoin, you're like, wow,
yeah, this is what I love. Awesome. Bitcoin is my boyfriend, the only one.
Right. So, well,
interesting.
That's and for me, Bitcoin is not my girlfriend, but I certainly, I guess, going back to some of your questions again, I see it as that quintessential tool, the seed that can help us fix the money, fix the world.
Yeah, so true. Okay, so how people can find you? Tell us one more time.
People can find me on Twitter. I'm at Miguel Futurist. We are at TfinDAO on Twitter as well. And on Instagram, we're at The Future Is Now DAO, written out. And our website, again, is thefutureisnow.community. Our film is The Future Is Now Film. Hashtag The Future Is Now Film. It's a film series.
Okay.
We have over 19 episodes from all over the world. Again, interviewing some of the most amazing people in one of the probably best, because I haven't seen anything else like it.
It is.
One of the best cinematic formats of documenting crypto. This is like high quality, Netflix documentary stuff. And it's very educational at the end of the day. Like, I really urge people to watch The Future Is Now Film, because it's inspiring while at the same time useful, and that's why we're opening up our Web3 portal. It's going to have a lot of the Future Is Now Academy. It's coming quarter 3 of this year. And it's going to feature a plethora of experts, a plethora of professionals, a plethora of vetted companies that are going to help our community, and everyone is going to be a part of the DAO, scale literally their life. That's what we want. We want to help people scale their life at the end of the day.
Yeah, and we want to grow this crypto community, right? Educate people.
Absolutely. That's why I realize, that you can go beyond being a media or a marketing agency. You can literally help your community of both clients, customers, readers, right? We publish the daily news on thefutureisnow.community that people can read. So we want to help people more, and we want to align everybody's incentive, because that's what it is at the end of the day. It's about aligning incentives and making sure that everybody wins.
We need more people like you in crypto space.
Well,
how can we
clone have quite a few.
Can we do it like with the help of AI or something like this?
Swedish family.
Yeah, something like this. So
you got to become a Swedish family.
You don't think that AI is going to destroy the world, right?
Not if we let it.
Oh, okay.
Only if we let it.
Okay.
And are we going to let it? Elon Musk addressed very good questions. And, I think Elon is a very interesting person. There, you can't really, I can't really fully say that he is on our side, if you will, but I think he certainly caught the seed and the Bitcoin virus, if you will, however you want to call it. The seed, he certainly caught it, and that seed grew within him, and we saw that over the years.
Yeah.
And it's funny that people that do that and that allow that seed to prosper and then go out into the mainstream and hold some stature of power. I mean, look what's happening to him now. He's being sued.
Yeah.
He's being sued for SpaceX, his biggest baby, of all, his most proudest achievement, I think, beyond Tesla. And that just goes to show that there is a consortium of people behind closed doors. It is a fucking conspiracy. I'm sorry, it is. Because what is a conspiracy? Okay, conspiracy theory is a term for CIA that was created to subjugate and label people that actually didn't believe the official narrative behind the JFK assassination, which to this day makes no sense, that official narrative. Yeah. And so they had to label them conspiracy theorists. But what is a conspiracy? A conspiracy is that behind closed doors, there are fat people, I'm sorry, powerful people, greedy people, conspiring to keep humanity at bay. If people really think that there is no conspiracy, I'm sorry, you got to drink a different kind of coffee to wake up. So, why did I bring up the conspiracy point? I forgot.
Take a Bitcoin pill, guys.
Yes, the orange pill,
orange
man.
Pill.
The orange pill. But wait, why did I bring the conspiracy angle? I was speaking about something important.
About Elon Musk?
Yes. So see, there are people conspiring behind closed doors because that's what happens to powerful people like that.
Yeah.
They don't get taken out, but they are, they are certainly warned publicly that if they continue, acquisitions of Twitter. I mean, look at Twitter right now. Twitter is literally poses the greatest danger to the cabal of the Democratic Party of the United States that has essentially infiltrated the whole government apparatus and is now doing something unprecedented. I mean, Kevin O'Leary, who I recently met, he was here at the Abu Dhabi Finance Week a few months ago. Great guy, by the way. Definitely one of, he's also caught a seed a little bit, for sure. Okay. And he said, look what's happening to the brand image of America, like the branding of America. An America that can actually take your assets, devalue them, and then essentially force you to get rid of them, which is what they're doing to Trump right now. Is that the brand image of America that people should be fine with? Is that what Americans should be fine with? And it's happening. So we're at a pivotal time right now. We're literally at the fork road, at the fork in the road. I'm sorry. And that's why I think it's so important for people to get in on this. And again, no financial advice. You don't have to buy one Bitcoin. You don't have to buy half a Bitcoin. You can buy 0.00001. Of Bitcoin, and still be a part of it. And it's not too late because, like I said, the bus is gonna lower again, and the bus is gonna go higher and faster than it is right now at 65K.
So true.
So this is guaranteed. That's just the mathematical cycle of Bitcoin is designed literally to suck out the fiat money, and then destroy it.
It will eventually.
That's literally the Bitcoin's design. And that's why, by the way, BlackRock is in. That's why the Bitcoin ETF was approved, because now the system is scared and they're like, what are we going to do if we don't control this thing?
Yeah.
So they're not here to be your friends. That's why everybody saw what happened with the Bitcoin ETF when it was approved. It didn't pump, right? It took you for a ride with your face down on the ground. And then it did something nobody expected, which was just a...
Yeah, so true.
And that's why does that happen? That happens because the institutionals are now in. Institutionals is the tiger in the room, and it's going to play the way they play. And the way they play on the market, it's not the way you're used to. Sure, there's been already a lot of them through the years, and we've seen the manipulative sort of nature of that price. But guess who manipulates that price? It's not Satoshi.
Of course not.
It's the institutionals,
Mhm.
like, hissing like snakes trying to get in to control this. And,
Mm.
and that's why it's happening the way it's happening. So are there mechanisms being built to, are there mining pools that people can enter to actually support the, let's just say the
Mhm.
what's the right word? The decentralized nature
Yeah.
of Bitcoin? Yes.
Sure.
Yes, there are. And I know quite a few of them. Again, because, I think some of the Bitcoin maxis that I know, such as, people like Jimmy Sung, Tone Vays,
Mhm.
uh, uh, these people understand the things we're speaking about right now.
Of
And they
course.
see them, and they're actually doing something, because some of them are active Bitcoin developers right now, right? They're doing something to make a change.
So what's your wish to the audience? Let's say like they will watch this video in the future. What's your wish to the audience
Kind
in
of
the
like my
future?
question from my film, right?
Yeah.
What's your wish for the future? So,
Yeah.
well, my wish is for people to truly come together,
Mhm.
to realize that you are not alone. You are not left without hope. You are not left without power, both spiritual, emotional, and physical. There are people out there who are working every day on this technology to help you and humanity at large to create a better tomorrow. And it's going to take all of us. It's going to take all of us bit by bit to actually come together, understand that we have the power. We truly do. We always had. We were just lied to believe that we don't. And now we can garnish and harness that power and use it to create a better world for our children and our children's children. Because believe me, as a father, I know, maybe you don't agree with me, but that is the point of us experiencing this reality on this earth. That is the future. And the future is what you make of it. The future is now.